April 1912. The Atlantic Ocean looked calm and endless under the dark sky. Inside a massive ship moving across the water, life felt almost magical.
But magic is an illusion when it's built on hubris, 50,000 tons of steel, and a dream that was destined to fail. Let's look at the dining hall. In the grand dining hall, wealthy passengers enjoyed luxurious dinners. Crystal glasses clinked as people laughed and talked about business, travel, and the future. Somewhere nearby, a pianist played soft music while couples danced slowly under warm golden lights. Down in the lower decks, a different world. The contrast was the first clue. Luxury above, struggle below. While the wealthy toasted to the future, the workers were already living in the past. Down in the lower decks, immigrant families sat together sharing simple meals. Children ran across narrow hallways, excited about the adventure they were on. For many of them, this journey meant something life-changing. They were sailing toward a new world, a new life, a new beginning. Everyone believed this ship could never sink. The dream of unsinkability was the greatest lie of the era. It wasn't engineering, it was overconfidence, and it was about to face the Atlantic. Its name was Titanic, but in just a few hours that belief would disappear into the freezing Atlantic Ocean, and one of the most famous tragedies would begin. At the beginning of the 20th century, America represented something powerful: opportunity. Factories were growing. Cities like New York and Chicago were expanding. The machine needed fuel. Millions of people ready to leave everything for a chance. The dossier shows they came from every corner of Europe, ready for the gamble. Railroads connected the entire country, and industries needed workers. For people living in poor villages across Europe, America looked like hope. Farmers who struggled to feed their families, laborers who worked endless hours. They all heard stories about jobs, freedom, and opportunity. Risk is the price of hope. They sold their land, their homes, everything, just for a ticket. They were gambling on a future they couldn't see, and the stakes were high. Crossing the Atlantic took days, and the tickets were expensive. Many people sold their belongings just to afford the trip. To them, it was worth it. At the end of that journey waited a city that symbolized possibility: New York. And in 1912, one ship promised to carry those dreams: Titanic, the greatest ever built. Let's analyze the vessel. 900 feet of steel and pride. They called it a floating palace, but a palace on water is just a target for the ocean. A massive, expensive target. When Titanic was completed, the world was stunned. Nearly 900 feet long, the largest moving object ever built. Massive engines, 3 giant propellers, technical perfection. Inside were luxuries most had never seen: a swimming pool, a gymnasium, elegant restaurants and cafes, first-class cabins decorated with fine wood and chandeliers. At the center stood the famous Grand Staircase, a beautiful curved staircase that looked like it belonged in a royal palace. Luxury, but only for the elite. While they enjoyed the stairs, the real story was in the hull. The lower decks, hundreds of immigrants in small rooms. They were the bulk of the ship and the bulk of the tragedy. Deep in the lower decks were the third-class cabins. Hundreds of immigrants, simple rooms. It was the bridge between their old life and the future, a future they'd never see. On board Titanic were more than 2,200 people, millionaires and businessmen in first class, young couples on their honeymoon, workers searching for opportunity, 2,200 stories. Every name on this manifest had a motive: a family to feed, a business to start, or a past to escape. 2,200 dreams, all moving toward a single coordinates in the dark. In the third-class cabins, the atmosphere was lively and hopeful. People played music. They sang songs from their home countries. They were finally leaving struggles behind. Soon, America. The investigation circles April 10th. Departure day, Southampton. Thousands gathered. The massive ship pulled away. The start of the countdown. Everyone waved, but some goodbyes were final. People on shore waved. Passengers on the decks waved back. Some cried. Everyone understood. Many goodbyes were permanent. Westward into the Atlantic, toward America. Safe, secure, unsinkable. The first few days were peaceful. Too peaceful. First-class dinners, fresh air, and music. Everything felt safe. But the calm was just a cover for what was coming. The Atlantic was waiting.
Everything felt calm. Everything felt safe. After all, this was Titanic, the ship many believed was unsinkable, into the deep.
As the ship moved deeper, radio messages arrived. Iceberg spotted. Large, dangerous, hidden. Other ships slowed down, but Titanic, full speed, hubris in its purest form. They ignored the data. The intel was clear. The coordinates were confirmed. But the reputation of the ship was more important than the reality of the ocean. A fatal mistake. Straight into dangerous waters. Many believed the ship was too advanced to be seriously threatened. And so, the journey continued. Straight into dangerous waters at nearly full speed. The countdown had begun.
April 14th, 11:09 p.m. The ocean was glass. No moon. High above, lookouts watched the black horizon. Searching for danger they couldn't see. The ship was a dark shadow moving at speed.
They didn't have binoculars. They were using their eyes in a moonless night on a mirror-like ocean. They were looking for ripples that didn't exist. They were sailing blind into the ice. 11:40 p.m. A dark shape rising from the ocean, directly ahead. He rang the bell 3 times. Iceberg, right ahead. The bridge reacted immediately. Engines reversed. Too late. The impact was unavoidable. 50,000 tons of steel scraping against a mountain of ice. Passengers barely felt it. A small bump, but below the waterline, the ship was already lost. 300 feet of ice and iron. It wasn't a head-on hit. It was a scrape. A tear that opened 6 compartments to the freezing Atlantic. Thomas Andrews understood immediately. The ship could not survive. Titanic was sinking. The water was rushing in. Slowly. Quietly. Titanic started to sink. Within minutes, the investigation confirms the horrifying truth. Too many compartments, not enough time, and not enough boats. 20 lifeboats, for over 2,200 people. The math was impossible. They believed the ship was the lifeboat. Hubris killed them before the water even touched the deck. A fatal mistake. The evacuation began. Put on your life jackets. Come to the deck. At first, people laughed. The ship felt stable. They didn't know the hull was already filling with the Atlantic. A nightmare in slow motion. Shipbuilders believed it was unsinkable. Now that mistake would cost 1,500 lives. Families separated. Husbands kissed wives goodbye. The end was coming, and the ocean was freezing. 2:00 a.m. The front deep underwater, angle growing steeper. The band played to the end. Music in the face of death. Then the lights flickered and went out. Total darkness. 50,000 tons of steel snapping. The sound was like thunder. 2:20 a.m. Titanic disappeared beneath the Atlantic. 1,500 people left in the water. Survivors said it was a long, cold silence after the screams. The dossier is nearly complete. Titanic disappeared. 1,500 souls lost. The Carpathia arrived too late. Most were gone. A tragedy that shocked the world and changed everything forever. Confidence meets tragedy. Case closed. The aftermath was a storm of questions. Investigations revealed the hubris. Too few lifeboats. Ignored warnings. Safety laws changed forever. Lifeboats for everyone. Ice patrols. A permanent mark on history. We follow the rules now because 1,500 people paid the price for our arrogance. The Titanic rests 2 miles below. Silent. Broken. A reminder of human ambition and its fragile line. Case closed. Dismissed. The wreck is still there. 2 miles down. Unforgettable. A ship that carried dreams into the freezing deep. Build less, build better. That's the debrief. The unsinkable sank. The ship that was unsinkable sank. And with it, hundreds of dreams sailing toward America, hoping for a better life. Case closed. Dismissed.